The Lorecast is over, Winterspell is coming, we've got a bunch of new information, and I'm freezing my Royal Rastafarian ninnies off! Ooh, let's go over all this juicy information and more in this installment of XMarksTheLore. Howdy hi ladies and gents, and welcome to another installment of XMarksTheLore. My name's the Exploder, and we have a lot to cover today in here because the Lorecast has just ended, but I've been privy to the information of the Lorecast for the past week. But now the information is out there, I can talk about things, and let's break down everything that was covered in the Lorecast and things you need to know about. That's really hype. So we're going to be going over things one step at a time, as every step of the presentation was hosted by a different member of the Lorcana team at Ravensburger. Starting off, we were joined by Naomi, who is the product manager of the game that started everything off, and she comes out reminding us about the releases of the brand new Lorcana books that will be coming. Now, these books are made for collectors in mind. There's one book that will cover sets 1 to 4, another book that will cover sets 5 to 8, and a notebook where you can just write down any notes that you want, or it's a perfect thing to bring with you to your championships or to your locals if you just want to keep tabs on lore totals, if you don't want to use the app or any of your lore counters. Now, it is key to note that the notebook that you'll be getting your hands on will come with full art illustrations inside, which is absolutely amazing. I'm just incentivized to get the notebook just because of that alone, in fairness. And that these collector's books for set 1 to 4 and set 5 to 8 will also include key parts of the lore of Lorcana, in case you were either unaware that there was an ongoing storyline with the game, or to remind you of the story and dive deeper into those story bits that you may have missed out on throughout all this time, which is a really good incentive. And then we start diving into Winterspell, starting off with a little lore tidbit about the set. So it was hinted at in the last set, Whispers in the Well, that if you look at the card Henwin's Visions, she is seeing a vision of a mysterious vine, and this vine is now starting to cause some problems in the world of Lorcana, to the point now where Lorcana itself has gone into an eternal winter, and that is why we have Winterspell, and everyone is participating in a giant snowball fight while this mysterious vine is spreading all over the place. It'd be interesting to see where the storyline goes from here, especially into the set after Winterspell, which we already know about, being Wilds Unknown, and the set afterwards, which I also know about, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. It is key to note that with the release of Winterspell, local game stores will get their hands on the game on the 13th of February, whilst general stores will get access to it on the 20th. So make sure you got your pre-orders in if you haven't already, and if you're interested in any of the stuff that is coming out. And as if by magic, we're introduced to the world of Winterspell, and it's time for some juicy card reveals. Starting off with a brand new Elsa concerned sister. She's in Ruby, a free cost inkable 2/2 for 2 lore, and Clear the Way. When you play this character, you pay 2 less for the next location you play this turn. I really like this Elsa. This is setting up this interesting dynamic of locations getting support. We saw some hints with this with Whispers in the Well, with Sleepy Hollow and Get to Safety, and even cards like the Games Afoot to really help the location plays. But now with Elsa in, and another card, well, a couple of cards that are also revealed here, we've got a lot more location support, which makes me very happy. We've also got another action card, but this is in Emerald, and it's called Freeze the Vine. It's a 4-cost inkable action card with banish all locations, then draw 2 and discard 1. Now, this can be a really good board wipe card if your opponent is playing an abundance of locations as a result of Winterspell. In limited and sealed play, which Winterspell has been built for, with that in mind after we spoke with one of the lead developers of the game, which we'll talk about more in a minute, this card in a limited format is going to work wonders, especially if there's going to be an abundance more locations released in this set, which by the looks of things could be the case. Now, it is, however, very situational, because if your opponent isn't running a lot of locations, you may not get a big benefit out of it. However, it is inkable, so if you know you're going to go against an opposing deck that doesn't have a lot of locations, you can always ink it. And you know what? That makes it okay with me. And speaking of location-based cards, we get a brand new location featuring the Vine and everything that's happening, simply called Frozen Vine. What the f... That location's mental! It's in Amethyst, it's a free cost inkable location, 1 ink to move to with 4 willpower and 2 lore passively at the start of your turn, with the effect Persistent Problem. When this location is banished, if there was an exerted character here, return this location to your hand. This is pretty nuts. The first location in the game that has its own recursion mechanic. Yes, you do need to have a character at the location. Yes, the character does need to be exerted at the location. But is that difficult when the location in question is only 1 cost to travel to? No. And is it difficult bearing in mind that if we are pairing this up with the Elsa we talked about earlier, that we can run Speedway, and Speedway will get a character to the location for free, take 1 damage on the character, sure, but now they're exerted at that location. So if your opponent doesn't get rid of the character, you still have a location that gains 2 lore. If they get rid of the location and the character's still there, guess what? The location just simply comes back into your hand and becomes a threat for later on. I really like how this location works, and I'm very interested to play around with it and see what I can do. And speaking of Winterspell itself, for the very first time ever, Winterspell, the actual name of the set, has its own card, and if I dare say, the artwork is very simple with the Illuminary Frozen, but I really love the artwork on this card, but I also love the effect. It is a steel card, action, 1 cost, and inkable as well, where a chosen location of yours cannot be challenged until the start of your next turn, and you draw a card. Safety measures for locations. I love it. It's one thing being able to play locations, it's another thing when your locations can't necessarily benefit from evasive, resist, or anything along those lines unless you have some very strict combos to do it. Now you have a single card that's cheap, easy to play, it's a guaranteed protection with your location, and you draw a card off of it as well? Net positive. I think this card is perfect for location decks. But we're not done with card reveals involving Winterspell because we have plenty more. And the next one is the Shift Elsa. Also in Ruby, she goes by the name of the Ice Artisan, and her artwork is beautiful. This amazing design of her dress just makes her stand out, and it looks incredible. But let's dive into the card itself. This is Elsa, Ice Artisan in Ruby, a 6-cost inkable 5/5, a quest for 1, shift 4, and with Endless Winter. Whenever you play this character or location, you may exert chosen character with 3 attack or less, which is fantastic, but she also has Distant Call. When this character is at a location, they gain +3 lore. So again, if you combine this with any location, because it's in Ruby, if you just combine this with Speedway, and you don't even move Elsa anywhere, Elsa in Speedway will immediately be able to quest for 4. That is a win condition if I've ever seen it myself. And you can keep Speedway alive. This makes Speedway starting line an essential location going into the next set. If not an essential 4, maybe at minimum an essential 2. This Elsa's incredible for location decks, and I'm really looking forward to get my hands on it. But there's even more cards revealed, as we have a brand new song card coming in to Ruby as well, that kinda goes alongside the island I pulled from the sea. This is The Cold Never Bothered Me. It's a Ruby action song that is a 3-cost uninkable card, and you look at the top 4 cards of your deck to reveal a location card and put it into your hand. You put the rest into your discard, and then you pay 3 less for the next location you play this turn. 3 less, that is a lot of locations that can come out for free. Not including Frozen Vine, just some ideas off the top of my head. You've got Agrabah, you've got Library, you've got Cove, you've got Sleepy Hollow, you've got Castle Wyvern, you've got Seven Dwarves Mine, and that's 6 off the top of my head, not including other locations that are out there already, and other locations that could be coming in with this set. This is incredible. I love it to pieces. And if I dare say, I think this is the better alternative to the Islands I Pulled from the Sea. If anything, I'd say you put 3 copies of this in and 1 copy of the Islands I Pulled from the Sea in, so that you have one way to search your entire deck and another way to search the top 4. I love this card. But wait, there's more, as we have even more legendary cards to talk about. This one being a new Moana, the Curious Explorer. She's in Sapphire, she's a 5-cost inkable 4/4, a quest for 2, with Ancestral Legacy. You can ink cards from your discard. Huh? What? That is nuts! What? This now means you are able to ink cards from your discard. This is similar to the... I forget the name of the card off the top of my head, but it's the Sapphire card where if you sing it, you can take 2 cards from your discard and put them into your inkwell face down and exert it. It's similar to that, but it's on a character, and now you can just ink from your discard. This means on your turn, instead of inking from your hand, you can just ink an inkable card from your discard. Bear in mind, the card you ink from your discard has to be inkable. Remember that. But there has also been a rules clarification that we had in the discussion involving this card. Because you see, if you play Sail the Azurite Sea, at the moment it says from your hand. There may be an errata coming with Sail the Azurite Sea, because the developer themselves came out to clarify that if you play Sail the Azurite Sea, you will be able to ink a second time from your discard, not just your hand, which is huge. This opens up a lot of opportunities. I don't think it affects Tipo, because I think Tipo specifically does list from your hand, so that may not get an errata. But from what we know at the moment, Sail the Azurite Sea works with her, and this Moana could be pretty dope. But joining Moana with the legendaries, we finally have a better look at Pocahontas, and she's looking incredible. Woohoo! Pocahontas, Fearless Peacekeeper. She's in Amber. She's a 5-cost inkable 3/6 for 2. She's a shift 3 with Calming Words. When you play this character, and if you use shift to play her, and none of your characters have challenged this turn, characters in general can't challenge until the start of your next turn. Now, these are some hefty requirements. So this means you need to shift Pocahontas, and you need to make sure that none of your characters have challenged anyone on the turn that you have shift played her, which can be a little bit cumbersome. But the effect that you get at the end of it is pretty darn massive. This now means that when you finish up, you can quest with everybody, potentially have game on the board, and now your opponent can't challenge at all. It's not a matter of, oh, you can't challenge because you need to pay 3, like it's with Tiana, or the restrictions, like with Mr. Big. No, this is a full, you can't even challenge even if you wanted to try, which is mad. I want to see someone combine this with Reckless, so now your opponents all have Reckless, but they can't challenge, because that would shut them down, and the only thing they can do is quest and sing, which seems like all they need to do in order to win the game. But if you have board on your side and they don't, youch. And we're also happy to reveal that the Moana and the Pocahontas I just talked about are the iconic cards for this set. Both of these iconics are based off of paper art, and they are looking incredible. My personal favourite out of the two is Pocahontas. I think she looks incredible in this, but that's not to say Moana doesn't look great either. I just have my own personal preference. But please tell me in the comments, which one of these iconics do you prefer the most? And which one of these would you go crazy over? Or would you just go crazy over both? Because I would. After this, Naomi finished her piece and we moved over to Lucas, who is the game design manager and the lead designer of Winterspell itself, which is awesome. And like I said earlier, in case you missed it, Winterspell was designed with limited in mind, which is pretty interesting. So if you do go to any limited events on pre-release or even after pre-release, this set is going to be built with some limited combos in mind. Bearing that in mind as well, I did capture a screenshot from a Q&A that was asked during the little conference that I had with everyone before the big Lorecast. And what's happening is there is going to be an updated rule in the limited format that is coming in with Winterspell. where instead of in limited formats of you building a 40 card deck, now your 40 card deck is only 35 cards. Now that may not seem like an absolutely huge change, but it means for your decks a lot more streamlined. Because the set is built with limited in mind, it hopefully means that the synergies that you have with your cards in a 35 deck will work a lot better than a 40 card deck. So we'll see how that goes. And then we have the big announcement and reveal. Lilo and Stitch, the animated series, is finally getting the Lorcana cards. We're going to be seeing cousins, we're going to be seeing more of Lilo and Stitch, but most importantly, we have two of my favorite boys both back in the game and brand new to the game. Let's go! So let's start these from one at a time with characters that are going to be involved in the big snowball fight. Well, 2 out of 3 at least. We have Gantu in Steel, Harmsterville's Accomplice, a 1-cost inkable 3/3 for 1, which is huge on turn 1, with easy target. When you play this character, you choose and discard a card. Sounds like a pretty hefty cost because it's not like the Mulan where you discard after drawing a card, you just have to discard a card. But there's a reason why this Gantu does it. It's a balancing thing because he is a big boy on turn 1, but it also synergizes with a brand new card. And that brand new card is my boy, Dr. Harmsterville, who is finally in the game, and I'm so happy. I love Harmsterville to bits. Harmsterville, my boy! Let's go! He is in Steel. He is an 8-cost inkable 5/5 for 2 lore with controlled variables. For every alien card in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this character, which synergizes well with the Gantu, and Awestruck. When you play this character, chosen character can't challenge during their next turn. So it shuts down an opposing character from being able to challenge. It's the same effect as the 3-drop John Silver if you ever played around with him. I think this is a fantastic card. It's already given me some amazing ideas for aliens going into Winterspell. Wow. So happy that my hamster boy is here. Let's go.
Hamsterville! It is Hamsterville!
But that's not even it. Because now we have Ruben. And he's making sandwiches. He's perfect. I love Ruben as well. So Ruben, he's in Amber. He is the sandwich expert. A 2-cost inkable 1/3 for 1 with lunch special. You exert him, remove 2 damage from a chosen character, and for every 1 damage removed this way, you reduce the cost of the next character you play this turn by 1. So this means, at minimum, it reduces a character by 1, similar to Lantern or similar to Huey the 2-drop. On the best case scenario, it works pretty much the same as the 3-drop Gaston from the previous rotation that reduces your next character by 2. It's also damage removal, which can be a little bit handy if you are dealing with any pesky tech involving Malicious, Mean and Scary, even though that combo will mostly proc off and you'll see Prince Philip straight afterwards, so how long are you going to keep the damage there for? But it's a synergy piece, and if you can make it work, go for it. I like Ruben. After these 3 reveals, we did have one more alien, and it is the seasonal promo that is going to be available at particular events during the course of Winterspell. It is Stitch, high badness level. He's in Steel, he's a 2-cost inkable 3/2 for 1 with Amped Up. When you have a character named Lilo in play, this character gains +3 attack. This can turn this Stitch into a very big problem if you're not careful. It's Lilo and Stitch synergy, which I think is pretty darn cool as well if you want to go with a theme deck idea, and I think it's perfectly fine. I think in limited formats this could be very scary, especially if you're able to pull the Lilo as well, so this is an incentive. If you're playing a limited format and you want to get this Stitch, you definitely want to get the Lilo to go with it so you can have some bouncy tech between them both. Other than that, it's another alien for the alien deck, and there's no problem with that. Also got noted in the conference call when we were talking about things, but Belle is confirmed for the set of Winterspell. The developers themselves did come out to confirm that there is a Belle card in the set, so anyone that is a fan of Beauty and the Beast, you don't have to worry yourselves. But the other positive is that one of the Beauty and the Beast cards is also the box top-up promo. So whenever you get a box of Winterspell, this is the promo card you're going to be going home with. And that promo is Beast, Snowfield Troublemaker. He's in Ruby, he's a 2-cost inkable 3/1 for 1 with Rush and Dynamic Maneuver. If this character is at a location, he does not take damage from the challenge. Now this is bearing in mind, this is whenever Beast challenges himself. If Beast gets challenged by an opposing character, he will take the damage and be banished. But in case you're struggling, if you have Speedway out, you can play out this Beast, immediately move him into Speedway. He now can't get damaged in the challenge. He has Rush, turn sideways, bop something for free, take no damage from it, removes a threat from the board. I think that's good synergy to me. I think it's a perfectly good box topper. But after talking about the box topper, we get introduced to new promo cards that are going to be in Winterspell for when you go to your locals. But these ones have brand new border designs. So now the border designs are kind of similar to like woodwork, kind of similar to like open book and open pages maybe. It looks incredible. I like that these have alternate borders to incentivize collecting. That's a really good thing. And the first promo that we see is a brand new Timon. Timon's back. That must mean we see a new Pumbaa in this set, surely. So this is Timon, Snowball Swiper. He's in Amber. He's a 3-cost uninkable 2/3 for 1 with Get Rid of That. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards 1 non-character card of your choice. So this synergizes quite well with Mowgli, this synergizes quite well with Ursula, synergizes quite well with Von Drake as well, for that cheeky early game discarding tech to get rid of some key combo pieces that your opponent is holding on to. I'm looking at you, Sapphire and Emerald. I think this will see play in some way or form. There's some discard tech coming back into the mix. That could be good, but can also be a little bit nasty. And the other weekly play promo that you can get your hands on is now the newest, most expensive character in the game of Lorcana. This is Grandma Tala. And she's a 12-cost uninkable. Ooh! Oh, this is nice. 12! Whenever I say it, it just reminds me of the Sesame Street song. You know, the one that just goes 12! But anyway, this is Grandma Tala. She is a 6/6 for 2 with Ancestor's Gift. For every card in your Inkwell, you pay 1 less to play this character. There's some quirky tech you can build here, but she only quests for 2. In limited formats, I think she'll be perfectly fine. In constructed formats, it's a bit of a hard sell, at least in my eyes. She's a cheap 6/6 for 2 in grand scheme of things, so I think she'll see play somewhere. But she's only that. She doesn't have any other effects by her. I think she'd be absolutely busted if she quested for 3 instead of 2. But that's just me. Needless to say, this is a cool Grandma Tala for the collection. And we've got even more promos to talk about, as we have a promo Underdog White Rabbit. Part of the Underdog set, where every single colour is going to get an Underdog card with the Underdog effect. We've already seen this with Angel, the Amber card that's coming in Winterspell as well, but this is the White Rabbit. It's great that he finally has a card. He's an Emerald, he's a 2-cost for 2/2 for 1, and his effect is, if this is your first turn and you are not the first player, you pay 1 less to play this character, and he has evasive regardless. Really cool effect, really cool character. I think he's going to see play in one way or another. It's going to be interesting to see how these Underdog cards work, and how they'll see competitive play, but needless to say, I love my White Rabbit boy. But we also have a brand new Eliza Mirza from Gargoyles confirming that there are going to be even more Gargoyle cards in this set, which makes me personally happy. I love my Gargoyles. She is a Ruby card, 3-cost 4/4 for 1 with Forever Strong. Your characters cannot have their strength reduced below their printed level, which is crazy. So they can be reduced if they're buffed with things like Scar or things like Lumiere, but they cannot go below their printed level. So with Eliza, for example, if you have a Lumiere out as well, which brings her up to a 5 attacker, now your opponents can bring her down to a 4, but cannot take her any further down than 4, which is pretty darn crazy. I quite like that effect. But then she also has the Stone by Day effect as well, because now she has grown into a Gargoyle, and if you have 3 cards in hand, you just can't ready her. Which is absolutely cool. I love it. I think she's going to be a great addition to the Gargoyle deck. But wait, ladies and gentlemen, more card reveals, but these are going to be your set championship promos for Winterspell, the big one. This is Tinkerbell, Snowflake Collector. and she looks incredible. If this is the enchanted art, I'm really interested to see what her base art looks like. So, let's go over the card. Tinkerbell Snowflake Collector. She's in Amethyst, she's a 3-cost 3/3 for 1 with Flurry of Delight. Whilst you have 4 or more cards in your hand, this character gains Evasive and Spectacular Find. When you have at least 7 cards in your hand, this character gains +3 lore. So it's all about drawing cards and having so many cards in your hand. Is this hinting at the idea that we're going to get more card drawing options in Winterspell? I hope so, because more card draw in the game is a good thing, and I think the game definitely needs more card draw, not just in Amethyst, mind you, but in every single color to really help the game bolster up a little bit more in my eyes. But a card like this is interesting. I'm not too sure how good the effect is going to be in limited or constructed formats. I think it's a little bit too requirement heavy, but even then, you're still pretty much going to get a 3/3 evasive at base, and if you're threatening your opponent and you're on the verge of getting your 7th card to quest for big lore, that could be a win con on its own, so don't sleep on the Tink. Lucas was done with his part of the presentation, and we moved on with Ryan Miller, the director of product and play. It's always great to hear Ryan, but it was amazing to actually be in a conference call with him. He's such a cool, jolly guy. So if you're watching this, Ryan, thank you for making that a really enjoyable experience. It was really lovely of you. And when he came on, the first thing we talked about is Epcot, the Festival of the Arts, which is still ongoing by the time this video comes out. I don't think it has long left in Epcot, but if you do want to get along with the collection quest that's going on over there, where you can get some very exclusive artworks of some special cards from previous sets, please go over to Epcot if you can, participate in the collection quest and get your hands on those cheeky promo cards. The cool thing is as well is that they have been testing the idea of collection quest for a while. They did do it as a test on the Disney Treasure, which is one of the cruise ships a while back, and they did also test it at DLC Richmond. This could be coming to DLC Ghent apparently, which could be cool because I'm going to Ghent and it would be lovely to participate in Collection Quest with a bunch of you guys out there. And on top of that, it could also be incorporated with more events in the future, but there's no word of any confirmations yet. So we don't know if they're coming back to the cruise ships. We don't know whether Disneyland Paris or even Tokyo could potentially get some Collection Quest stuff in the future, or whether this could come to Disney World in Florida to make sure that Collection Quest is still a thing, a seasonal thing maybe that you can do over there, or in Epcot or whatever. It sounds great. I really hope Collection Quest is a thing. I think this is a great way for new people to get into Lorcana, to do something a bit fun. Even if they don't play the game or collect the game, it's just a little fun thing that you can do, and I love it. I love the idea of it. Can't wait to try it myself. But now we're getting into juicy information involving cards post Winterspell. Starting off with Wilds Unknown, set 12 and the end of this rotation of cards. The pre-release for Wilds Unknown will be May 8th and the general release will be on May 15th. So get that down on your calendars so you already booked the time off work. And of course, the big thing with Wilds Unknown is that it's confirmed that Woody and Buzz from Toy Story will be in the game, starting off the big Pixar revolution, as we are seeing some of our new favorite boys join in. But Woody and Buzz are not the only Pixar cards that are coming into Wilds Unknown, and if you keep your eyes out, I'm going to be talking about them. We're also reminded of the new product coming in to Wilds Unknown as well, being the pre-release packs. Now, these packs give you a nice box to help store your cards in. You get 6 packs of Wilds Unknown, as well as an exclusive postcard, which is a random 1 of 3, and an exclusive promo, which is a random 1 of 6, with the incentive of you trading with different people to see what you can get your hands on. On top of all of that, the way of which we can incorporate this into pre-release is really interesting. Some of the ideas that Ryan gave is doing a 3-stage pack rush, so you take 2 packs for your first game, 2 packs for your second game, 2 packs for a third game if it goes that far, and you see who comes up on top with your games of pack rush, which I highly recommend trying out, by the way. Or you can just do it as a draft set where all the packs you get in your pre-release pack is just your draft and you just go ham on it. I like this package. I think it's a great idea to get more people into the game on pre-release, and you get quite a nice abundance of stuff when you get it as well, including dice. We like our clicky clacks. And then Ryan's talking about the fact that in the promo art featuring the packs, there are some obscured characters. But who are they? We know who they are now. The Incredibles are confirmed for Wilds Unknown. I am so freaking happy. I love The Incredibles. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies, and we are going to get The Incredibles in the game, which makes me exceedingly happy. This is incredible! Ah! I do have a couple of copies of The Incredibles cards that we can talk about in this video, so keep an eye out because I will be diving into this a little bit more. But it's confirmed, baby! Yeah! I just need Syndrome. Syndrome's my boy and I need him so bad. Maybe the Underminer. And these were confirmed as part of the 2-player deck, which you can get also with the release of Wilds Unknown. Another new product where instead of a single-player deck where you just pick it up, rip it open, and you're good to go, now you pick this off of the shelf, you and a friend can crack them open, and these 2 decks are built to go against each other, and a great introduction into the game where you and your friend or you and a family member can dive in, face off, and you've got an abundance of cards to start off with to help with your start of the Wilds Unknown. It is key to note that something that was brought up in the conference when we had a Q&A session, that we were talking about how competitive these decks were going to be. Now, these 2 decks are built with this set in mind, so they are built specifically for these 2 to go against each other and for a more introductory deck for new players. So, sadly, doesn't look like we're having any competitive decks as of yet. However, it was said that they are potentially looking into the idea of competitive decks in the future. So watch this space, and if you want my thoughts on single player decks anyway, I did make a video about single player decks, which you can check up on down in the description, or up here as a little doobity-doo just for you. But having a closer look at the 2-player deck box itself, I noticed there were a few characters on the top that confirmed their entry into Wilds Unknown. There was one that looked like either a Lilo or a potential new version of Julieta Mirabelle, but obviously with a new effect, I would assume. There's also a new Donald, and another character that is confirmed to be in Wilds Unknown, and another franchise confirmed, Brave, is coming to Wilds Unknown. And that means we have Merida. And not just is Merida going to be potentially featuring in this 2-player deck set, she also gets her own mat alongside a Super Goof mat in the set. That's incredible. So for anyone out there that has been waiting to represent your girl Merida, you won't have to wait for too long. Come May time, you'll be able to get that mat and represent your girl. Her artwork looks incredible, so I'm looking forward to see what her card does next. Last thing I'll say about the 2-player deck as well, the face cards of the decks, which seem to be Mrs. Incredible and Buzz Lightyear, will have special foiling on them, similar to the special foiling from Whispers in the Well. So if you remember from Whispers in the Well, the face cards that you had from the front of the box had special foiling, which was unique foiling to that of the foil variants in a random pack or the box or the trove. So this gives another incentive for collectors out there. If you want to get 4 copies of the special foiling, or if you just want 1 copy of the special foiling for your collection, you're gonna have to get this set. Products to one side, let's get into the cards. Some of the card reveals we had included Buzz Lightyear. The boys! Let's go, we're eating well tonight. I love Buzz. We have a Buzz card, let's go!
When there's trouble, you know who to call.
Buzz Lightyear!
Here is in Emerald, a free-cost ink ball 4-2 for 1 with secret mission. Whenever you spend 2 ink or less to play a non-character card, you draw a card and choose and discard a card. And World's Greatest Toy. Whenever you spend 2 or less to play a character, you may deal 1 damage to opposing damaged character. This is such an interesting mechanic, so now we get abilities that are triggered depending on the amount of ink that you've spent to play certain things this turn, which is incredible. So now we can combine this with something like Mosquito Bite, where Mosquito Bite is a 1-cost action, so because it fulfills the requirements of being 2 cost or less, we can then draw a card and discard a card straight afterwards, which could definitely help with any combos we need in our hands at the time. I'm looking at you, Malicious, Mean and Scary, you dirty boy you. I'm interested to see if there's going to be a shift Buzz Lightyear that can potentially boost the effect of Buzz while he's here, so we'll keep an eye out on that. But if this is where things are going, I'm interested. I love the artwork of this Buzz, by the way. We also have a brand new Evil Queen, or just the Queen, in Emerald, the Evil Ruler, a 1-cost inkable 2/2 for 1 with unequaled cruelty. While an opposing damage character is in play, this character gets +2 attack. I quite like this card. I think she's a very interesting 1-drop. She is a 2/2, so that's on curve anyway, and just being a simple 1-drop anyway. But the fact that she can be a 4/2, and all that's required is that one of your opponents has damage on them, is really, really interesting. You could just slap that on with Mosquito Bite. As soon as you do Malicious, Mean and Scary, whether you are or are not doing the Prince Philip combo, it immediately turns her into a 4/2, which can be quite formidable, and then she can't be rid of with the effects of like Under the Sea as a result of that. So I'm very interested to see how she's going to play as a 1-drop in Emerald, but I think she's a pretty viable choice. Screw those cards! We have the Incredibles, starting with Mrs. Incredible, Super Stretchy. She's in Amethyst, she's a 5-cost inkable 5/6 with Flexible Thinking. You may choose one at the start of your turn. She either gains Evasive or gains +1 Lore. I think this Mrs. Incredible is brilliant. I think she'll see play in some way or form. She's going to be brilliant in an Amethyst deck that's going to be built around these mechanics in general. The fact that she's already quite a big body, being 5/6, and then she can either gain Evasive or gain +1 Lore, that's really beneficial for when you need to get rid of something or just quest the game. I think she's a fantastic card, but she's not even my favourite. We have Jack Jack. I love Jack Jack, and he's got a card, and his card is freaking crazy. Jack Jack, you machine! Just as crazy as he is. Let's dive into it. So this is Jack Jack Parr. He's in Ruby. He's a 4-cost inkable 4/4 for 1 with Weird Things Are Happening. At the start of your turn, you may put the top card of your deck into your discard. If it's a character, you gain +2 strength on Jack Jack. If it's an action or item, Jack Jack gains +2 Lore. If it's a location, banish chosen character. This is mad. I want to build a deck around Jack Jack. What if you combined Jack Jack with Merlin's Cottage, so you know exactly what's going to come next, so you know exactly what Jack Jack is going to discard, and then you manipulate the top of your deck so that if you have a pesky thing on your opponent's side of the board that you need to get rid of, you manipulate your top deck for it to be a location, so you can just banish him straight away. And that's just my first idea. I love Jack Jack. I love the artwork. I love the effect. I want to see the other Incredibles boys as well. Like I said earlier, where's Syndrome and where's Dash? I love Dash as well. Sadly, those are all the cards we know of so far involving Wilds Unknown. If any other Wilds Unknown cards get revealed at the actual release of the Lorecast, then I'm just going to have to do an update video in some way or form, probably on my short forms, in order to let you know of those cards. But that's what we got privy to in the little conference we had before the Lorecast. Now, the other thing to keep an eye out for on March 13th is the release of the Scrooge McDuck gift box. It's similar to the gift box that featured Elsa that came back out in 2025. You're going to get a random assortment of packs in there. It's going to come with its own storage bit for your cards, and it's going to come with some very exclusive stuff you can only get in there, as well as a Scrooge McDuck Shush agent with an exclusive piece of artwork that you can only get from that set. So it's a great thing to pick up for collectors. But the one thing that's key to note, if there was no clarification as to what random packs could be in this set. So there are no guarantees, but you're just going to get current rotation relevant packs. There's no guarantee on getting Fabled or Whispers in the Well. You might just get packs from before rotation also. It's all up in the air. Good luck. But wait, we're also reminded of the collection starter set featuring Stitch. You get a very special glimmer foil Stitch for collection purposes, and you also get 4 packs of Winterspell with it as well, with the Stitch portfolio, which is a 4-pocket portfolio after all of this. So we know about Winterspell, we know about Wilds Unknown, we have a lot more releases. But now we have the big one. Set 13, coming in Q3 of 2026, which roughly lines up to be about August time, if we are doing a 3-month time period after Wilds Unknown. Attack of the Vine, featuring, and you can see here, Mike, Sully and Boo from Monsters Incorporated. I am so happy to see my boys. Monsters Incorporated is a legacy film for me, and the fact that these guys are in it, the artwork's already looking incredible. I'm hyped for Attack of the Vine, and I hope you are too. But look at this artwork. There's something here that is also a hint of something to come. That's the house from Up. Up is confirmed. We're gonna get Kevin and Doug. All we know about Attack of the Vine is that it's gonna come out in Q3 of 2026, maybe August. We're gonna get Monsters Inc. and we're gonna get Up guaranteed. But what if I told you there's more? We don't know whether this is going to be in set 13, but it might be more likely that this is set 14. Guess what franchise is coming into Lorcana, which has blown my freaking mind? I've said so far that all these Pixar films are some of my favorite films. So's this one. Confirmed for 2026, potentially for Q3 or Q4. Coco is coming to Lorcana. I'm done. This is gonna blow the set wide open. So many people love Coco, me included. Coco has some amazing moments, amazing characters, great songs, great cards that can be made. This piece of artwork which we have that teases things is just looking incredible. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this, any of the other stuff that's been talked about thus far. It is all looking absolutely incredible. And that is what we know so far for the future of Lorcana from this Lorecast. Wow, I can't wait. Big shout out to Ravensburger for allowing me to participate in the conference before the Lorecast that you guys have just watched earlier today, if you're watching the Lorecast on the day this video came out on the Tuesday. And thank you to you guys. Because of your guys' support here, there and everywhere, I was able to get involved with this event and will probably be involved with other events moving forward as well, which is huge. Without your guys' support, I just wouldn't have these opportunities. So I hope this information has made you very happy as well as I have, because I'm literally shaking with excitement, yeah! Ooh, I'm turning randy!
The cream, yeah.
Tell me what you are most hyped about down in the comments below, and let me know if there are any cards in Winterspell or any deck ideas you currently have for Winterspell coming out February 13th if you are supporting your local game stores. Now, I'll be seeing you next time for another edition of XMarksTheLore, whether we're here, whether we're there, or we're anywhere. Be sure that you're subscribed down below as well so you can be a part of the most explosive crew on the Azurite Sea. And until next time, set sails, weigh anchor, and I'll be seeing you then. Shee-hoo! God, we're eating well. Let's go!